Part 27. What is it that Jesus Christ came to do? He came to fulfill the law. Said that he redeemed them from the curse of the law, being made a curse for them, because the law was a curse. The mark of the beast was a Jewish thing. Their letters were numbers. Alpha, 1, beta, 2, like that. So any man that was learned could count the number of this false prophet back then. Because everything that they said had a sum, because their letters were numbers. Those who overcame the mark of the beast sang the song of Moses. The Gentiles never had the law or the prophets. This was not to the Gentiles. They sang the song of Moses because Moses had to put a veil over his face, like Paul said in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, so that the children of Israel could not steadfastly behold the glory of his countenance, of the glory that was to be done away, because he said in those that the law was the ministration of death and the ministration of condemnation, and then it was done away and abolished. But he said that even back then, whenever the Old Testament was read, the veil was still in their hearts, because it hadn't been taken away in Christ, because they hadn't turned to Christ. Now, Jesus Christ came to fulfill the law, and the law was a curse. These zealots kept the law and rejected Jesus Christ. When the law was given in Exodus and Deuteronomy, it is said, "Bind this upon your hand, and let it be for frontlets between your eyes, so that the law of the Lord may be in your mouth." It also says, "Let it be for a memorial upon your hands, or a memorial between your eyes, and bind it upon your hand, let it be for a memorial between your eyes, a sign upon your hand, and frontlets between your eyes." Now, other people say that they have looked up. I haven't looked this up. God just told me these things, but I'm not going to discount it because I haven't looked it up yet. They say that the Jews actually did this literally with little scrolls, like I said. He had a little scroll in his hand, and 7 angels uttered their voices. They said that they would actually bind these upon their hand and their foreheads. The custom of the Jews back then was that they could only use their own currency. They had the money changers in the temple. And if you got anybody else's currency, you had to go up to the temple and exchange it for Jewish currency. Well, these zealots were zealous of the law, and they would not let anybody who believed in Christ come in there and exchange their money or buy anything. Instead of having the seal of the living God, which Jesus brought by ending the law, they kept the law for a sign upon their hand and a memorial between their eyes. And the law was the mark of the beast, the very thing that Jesus Christ came to fulfill. We do not have the same language that they had back then. They didn't have vowels or anything. They didn't have vowels written into their language back then. And there is no way for us to take somebody's name like Simon Bar-Jorah or John of Giscala and say that one of these zealots leaders, their name equaled that. We don't even have the same language, but it did happen back then. That's something that I know. Stay tuned.